Like I was saying, a big thank you to my panel. And we've got representatives from so many different industries, from so many different countries, who are tangibly putting practices into place. And we want to know why they're doing it and what they're getting from it. Because let's face it, businesses, private companies are here to make money. And they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't a good policy to have. We're going to start with Yana. Yana, you've made a difficult journey from Ukraine. You've traveled from Kyiv. It's not been easy. We really appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for representing StarLightMedia. You've been bringing these policies in for quite some time, and we had a very quick conversation when you put into practical terms exactly how the results, what is happening with your media newsroom, which is now in a bunker. Just explain to us what is going on.
It was a long way, but it's worth it. I'm pleased to be here with you today. You know, when we work with the human rights, with the gender equality, family-friendly policies, I believe one of the main reasons why we do it, because we want to provide our people with their value safety, with their physical and mental security. And during this war, when I saw our news team at the office, that now it's their home actually, when we saw how after 24th of February, our employees came to work with their families, with their husbands, with their wives, with their children, when I saw how our LGBT plus employer decided to come with his partner, because everyone wants to be with their families, even if you need to work 24/7 as a soldier of informational defense of the country. So I believe when our workplace become a home, and when we saw these families during this challenging time, I believe we saw the human face of these results, the human face of the answer why, as an employee, we need to do more, to work harder on our family-friendly policies and on human rights, actually, as well. You know, before the war, as all private sector representatives, we also have our reasons why. It was much more pragmatic, private sector motivated. Like, first of all, as a media, we know for sure that if you want to create if you want all people to like your product, you need all people representation in the room where you created this product. So, first of all, when we started our work with gender equality, it was our way to increase efficiency. It was our way to know more about our audience requests and to raise sales, actually. Secondly, media is all about ideas and talents, and we are already in this fight for greatest talents, and we believe that there are no corporate culture that can fight for these best talents, especially new generation of talents, without diversity and inclusion and respect to human rights. Yes, and the third, or part of our motivation, is actually reputation and partnerships. Of course, for sure, I don't want to work, even me, I don't want to work a company which has this part of discrimination or loyalty to discrimination as a part of their brand. And you don't want to be in partnership with a business who don't respect human rights. So yes, it was our third factor. That is why we started our way to gender equality in 2019 and become the first Ukrainian company that signed women's empowerment principles. And even now we keep going, and I hope that next year, for example, we will share with you our new results of maybe, I hope, this rebuilding after the war, and our new results as an employer and as in media. Thank you.
It's exceptional, isn't it? Absolutely exceptional. Even so, to see just, yeah, you said you were doing it to attract the best talent. You wanted to be an attractive workplace and creative media industry. I'm from the creative. It's tough. It's really hard. The best people walk if they don't like what you're doing. But to then have that put into a war zone and see the tangible reality of bringing in your whole family into the bunker with you, for once, I'm lost for words. Yana, thank you. Özde, Yana's industry, my industry, is very female dominated. And I know, Yana, you've got more women actually than men working within StarLightMedia. Özde, Borusan Holding Turkey, it's very male dominated. And it's a large company. Put this into perspective: 10,000 employees in Turkey, 20,000 worldwide. But within 3 years, you've increased your female workforce by 5%. How and why?
Well, thank you, Kasia. Thank you very much, Yana. It's a great pleasure to be here with you in this panel. Well, the focus of Borusan came from, to the diversity came from the social cultural experience of Turkey, first of all. I'm a sociologist and psychologist as well, working in human resources area, so I will take the issue from two perspectives. In Turkey, we are living in a male-dominated country, in a male-dominated culture, where the historical role for the women is mainly in maternity, in household experiences, in household jobs. So companies like Borusan, which operates in 9 different sectors, mainly in steel business, mainly in production business, they own this responsibility to the Turkish culture in order to create an awareness in terms of women empowerment. And our company really supports that vision as well. And as for the HR view, as Yana said, it's now a great impact. It has a great importance to create meaning in work life. It's not enough only to produce the best product. It's not enough only to sell the best product, but also in order to attract the talent that will produce that product, that will sell that product, you need to create a meaning. This is why companies like Borusan invest in diversity issues, invest in issues that create a meaning for the employees, like sustainability, like climate change, like innovation. So the situation for Borusan is also the twofold. From sociological perspective, the positioning of women in Turkish society is a problem Borusan has to deal with its own instruments, but also from talent attraction point of view, we need to work on these issues because the next generation talents are going to ask to us more and more every day about these issues. As for our case, we have been working on gender equality since 2012. It has been 10 years. And it's like a general program. It's aiming to increase awareness in the leadership. It's aiming to increase recruitment levels. It's aiming to increase leadership levels. It's aiming to increase and to make better the physical environments of women are working in. And also it's aiming to support family-friendly practices and empowering women to join more and more to the workforce. As for the recruitment, we did 2 things. First of all, when you want to achieve something, especially in a big company, especially in a diverse locations, you need to give strict targets and follow them. That's what I believe. That's what also our executive team believes. We have strict targets in terms of women numbers till 2030. And every year we are measuring them. And it's affecting the targets, the year-end targets of the top management team. So they feel responsible that they need to work on this women issue every day. So when we have strict rules saying that when you are hiring for a position in the shortlist, you need to have at least 1 female candidate. And we follow that also through our recruitment system. And also we do certain recruitment projects aiming to increase women percentage in areas that are mainly considered as men jobs. For example, we have a dealer company selling BMW, Range Rover, Jaguar, and Mini products in Turkey, cars mainly, and they have service mechanics. And we did a project and said that the woman has the key. And we hired 20 women mechanical workers, employees, And now they are working and fixing the cars together with their male peers. And it's a big shock for the whole company because they are considering that this is only a male job that can be done only by the men. But now we have female workers working in the services and it's going really well. To sum up, we follow with the targets every year really strictly and we really push for the targets. We put rules for the recruitment and we make special projects that is focusing on recruiting solely female employees, especially in areas which are considered to be only a male-dominant jobs.
So it's amazing, isn't it, that you have this possibly a work environment, mechanics that you're talking about, predominantly seen as a male-dominated role, but because you put in targets, you got more women in, and that's extraordinary. I'm going to go on to whether working with targets actually works, whether that's the only way of doing it. But I just want to come to you, Ekaterina, because SoftTeco in Belarus, it's a software development services company, and again, it's one of those companies where arguably you'd think about it being more male-dominated, but you're bringing in, you've got family-friendly and also women-friendly policies. And just yesterday, I asked you, well, do you have, gender pay? What's your gender pay gap? Do you have equal pay for equal work? And you looked at me as if I was mad and just said, of course. And I don't know if that's a generational difference because I had to work hard to get equal pay. But for you, it just seems like crazy that I'm even asking you. Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you. First of all, I want to greet you, Kasia, and all of the participants of our conference. And yes, it was really maybe a little bit strange question for me because it's like, yes, obvious. I mean, it's a ICT sphere, it's a IC sector, it's very agile and flexible, and it's a number of women and men in our company is something like of 60 to 40, and it's a good result. I may say that we are going to 50-50. That's because we have these possibilities to give to our women, and we want to give them to our women and to promote this policy not only to IT sphere, but all other spheres, because this is a good example, and good examples should be shared.
Good examples should be shared, and it's fine to look at me as if I've asked a stupid question because, for me, it's one of those normal questions that so many women of my generation, I'm not that old, but we've had to fight for it, and yet for you, it seems like such an obvious thing, and I think that's given me a lot of hope, actually. I'm going to take that away. Ekaterina, thank you. Elene, you, with Meama, it's a coffee capsule making company. You did an MBA in the UK, you studied in London, you're at the moment building this company in Georgia, you're going to be opening up a shop on the King's Road in London, super, super competitive. I wonder, when it comes to cutting through with a business plan, what benefits you to have anything? Why even bother, I guess, is the question I'm trying to ask when it comes to family-friendly, women equality, any of that aspect, because it is expensive.
First of all, thank you for inviting me in this amazing, fascinating conference, and it's really helpful and very, very useful for our future. And as we mentioned today many times, that about spending and investing our money in the right things and for the right future, it's very important. And yes, because I've been living in London for years, and I've seen how companies giving the opportunity for their workers, for their personal life along career growth and development, which is very important, because I personally think that if you don't have enough time for doing your career only or doing your only work-wise, like it will be impossible to manage quality work. And that's the most important for the company, to get loyal employees and to do their job quality-wise, and also to care as a society as a whole, because we're the generations which we have to make, like we have to impact somehow with small decisions, as to impact as a world whole.
Impact the world with this and lead by example again. Thank you. Özde, we spoke about whether you can count the benefit in terms of finances, and you said it's very difficult when you open up the workplace and you create these targets, bring these people in, but it's difficult in terms of productivity to actually put a tangible figure on it. I wonder if you could just elaborate on that, and in that case, why do you do it? You spoke about the exchange of ideas was something that you touched upon.
Well, when you put money and time in something as a company, you deliberately want to measure the end result of it with numbers. We spoke yesterday. But when it comes to diversity, it's really hard to measure in numbers. There are lots of things in HR that is hard to measure in terms of numbers. But when it comes to diversity, it's even harder because we are talking about changes in cultural aspects, changing in working environment that are really subtle. But it is really hard to put those things on the table and discuss with the CEO. But when women are more empowered in work life, and when they become part of the team, what we observe is, first of all, I said we are working in production industry, mostly in steel production industry, and it's really heavy industry, and the cultural codes are so manly. They are like using man jargon, let me say, in their daily conversation. And even that becomes better when a woman enters to the room. I myself experienced it even in my meetings. When I enter to the room, people, my male peers, who are talking in that room are changing their language. They try to be more focused, they try to be more deliberate, they try to be more kind. And not only that's the social politics issue lying there, but also we see that women bring more diverse idea to the positions they are performing. We see that women are more successful in terms of certain assessment centers, in terms of performing certain leadership roles, because they are so much suppressed by their male peers. They need to move a step ahead of them, so they try to work more, they try to perform more, and they try to create more. I can say that it's just putting a performance pressure as well. I don't mean that it's solely a positive side of that, having diversity at work from the female side, but we can observe that women try harder in order to succeed more, and that brings also a performance understanding to their male peers in terms of comparison. Okay, I think I try to succeed more. I think I try to bring more ideas, because that's the way the job is done, and that's the way I should thrive as well. So it's really hard to measure. My experience is based on my observations, but I think also the executive team observes those critical examples as well, and they also believe the importance of having diverse females from diverse backgrounds in their executive teams as well.
So it's the women almost pushing themselves to overcompensate, but I don't want to man bash, but man jargon, mansplaining, it is a term that it is a thing. Let's be honest about it. But you touched upon it's hard to measure the productivity, but you can measure the retention of your staff. And Yana, I know that that's something that your company has been doing.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad to share our results with you. First of all, we used web gender gap analysis tool as our type of measurement of our progress. In the 2019 StarLightMedia, I got only 11% out of 100. We were actually we were disappointed by this result because we had this perfect representation of women, not thanks to us, but thanks to our industry. And my colleagues, a lot of my colleagues said, like, so why we need to do something with gender equality if we already have this 50% of women in our organization, but we saw this 11%. Why? Of course, we had no actually family-friendly policy, we have no gender policy, we had no actually internal monitoring system of gender pay gap. We had no internal rules against discrimination and harassment, etc. And after this 2 years of work on improvement, we saw our 72% out of 100 results. I'm actually grateful and proud of team of StarLightMedia, but actually I want to thank you today, UNFPA Ukraine. Of course, the UNFPA team was and are our greatest partner during all of this process. And yes, you're absolutely right. If you want to measure your results with this test, you need to collect gender segregated data inside of your organization. So I know that like in last year, 49% of our promotions were women promotion inside the organization. So I believe it's a great sign that it's not only about just women representation inside your organization, it's about really equal opportunity for professional growth. Yes, we know that for the last 2 years, our turnover decreased by 2 times. So, like, more people stay with us for longer, and also we know, thanks to the research and our annual dialogue about motivation with our top managers, that gender equality and family-friendly policies, our D&I initiatives, were not only positively affected their lives and work-life balance, but also helped them to feel more sense, bigger mission in their jobs. So we also saw the positive trend in our motivation survey, and also StarLightMedia were recognized as the best employer among all Ukrainian medias. So I hope that all of our hopes, we saw the reflection of our hopes in these results. So yeah, and I believe again everything will be fine, and we will get another our internal and external results course. As a media, for sure, we always have this double responsibility, because we need to change not only our corporate policies, but our policies about content and marketing as well. So yes, and I'm really glad that our viewers also showed that they are ready to new type of content, and we realized new marketing campaigns about women's rights, and I'm glad to see that society also changed, and I hope that it means that all employees, all private sector representatives will hear this request for gender equality every day and louder. Yes, thank you.
It's obviously working, because if you're retaining the workforce, then they agree with you and they want to stay there. And anybody who works in human resources knows what a headache and how expensive it is to hire new people. When you have these policies in place, Yana, thank you. Elene, your company, 400 people at the moment and growing, 50-50 split, men, women, which is extraordinary. But just tell us, how many men have you got on paternity leave at the moment? This is amazing. This is great.
We have 5 men right now who are using the paternity leave, and it was really challenging, because we have done a lot of trainings in Georgian, Georgian mentality. They are not used to paternity leave rather than like maternity leave. So yes, we run a very good internal communications, and we convince our workers to participate their childbirth, growing, and for their mental health and so on. So we've done this for our company and for.
So out of 400 people, 5 men right now. I mean, there's a baby boom, but 5 men right now are on paternity leave.
Just in a few months.
That's within the same short space of time. That's really impressive. That shows that there is awareness, and you are talking about it. And Ekaterina, when it comes to awareness, that's certainly something that we touched upon a little bit earlier. We were talking about Belarus has a lot of the policies, the general policies, when it comes to gender equality, family-friendly policies in place, but there's not that level of awareness.
Yes, exactly. In Belarus is such a socially oriented socially oriented country among countries of past Soviet Union, and we do have a lot of policies oriented on parent smart, on work-life balance, but the promotion of them among companies are very small, extremely. I mean, this is what we do. We promote them by using our social networks, but using our website, and now we don't have any fathers in the parental leave, but we have an employee, a woman, who has her husband in a parental leave. And I think that this is also a result of our work.
As a result of direct work, and it's that kind of direct work that, Yana, you guys have certainly done. You've got various courses going on in order to just make people aware of what is available. And the uptake of that, it's not just family, LGBTQ you touched upon as well, but actively teaching your workforce in order to participate and also, I guess, understand and then take it further forward and explain to other members of the society.
Yeah, actually, our StarLightMedia parental support program provides future parents with some training course. And interesting fact that among participants of these courses, more than 50% actually are men. So they are really even more interested in these educational courses. And we also provide additional days of paternity leave. And we see actually how this option of 5 additional days of paternity leave become a great and very popular option among our fathers. Actually, also as an employer, we support our future moms with their some benefit with medical services. In medical services, we propose them flexible hours for sure, and flexible remote work. And we also, in our organization, we have some special corporate taxi and delivery service for our future mom and dads or new mom and dads that will help them to be at home, but on the, be very efficient and work and stay in contact with us. Yes, so it's our approach, but I believe it's also, if I may, I want to add one point. After the family-friendly policy, StarLightMedia decided to create first corporate program against domestic violence. And I believe it is really important when you can say to your employees that your safety and your family, it's not only about, I don't know, it's your paternity or maternity leave. It's not only about your efficiency during this period or about you come back to me after maternity leave. It's just a sign that I will be there for you if you feel insecure in this family. I will be there, and as an employee, I will provide you with all psychology, law services, security services, just to know that you are all right, even if it's happened out of my office or out of working time.
I guess it's that recognition that, we're there for you. That's really super important, and that's often, you forget about that, don't you, that lives continue outside of the workplace. You don't just, your employees do go home, they've got other stuff going on. Özde, when you hear of the difference, and we heard from Türkiye earlier on this morning at the start of today, what kind of policies would help you as a company? And is there anything that you yourself have tried when it comes to governments? What can they do to help? When you've got the ears of the UN here today, what would you like them to do? And anything that you've tried and you just thought, oh my goodness, that really didn't work. We're not doing that again.
Well, there are things that company change within its responsibility areas. We also have certain applications that work for or female employees. We have nursery assistants. We work hybridly. 50% of our workforce can work from home on half of the month, let's say, and that's really empowering women in our company. But when it comes to the society, I think there is a lot going on. But if I have to pick one thing, it will be education of the girls, especially education of the girls in the rural area, especially because when we try to hire women from different sectors, from different positions, from different age groups, we found out that there aren't so many well-educated women coming from the workforce. And the main reason is that females, girls, do not have proper access to the education in Turkey. What government should be working on is providing that at first and making women ready for the work life. And also, as we try to put on some supporting mechanisms for women, the governments should also provide supporting mechanisms for getting women working in corporate sectors, in government sectors as well. There could be like child care services, because we see the main reason for the turnover of the women is giving birth to a child. When we look to our turnover rates, it's really clear. Women quit, especially giving birth to the second child. So if there could be a proper childcare agenda of the government, these women could continue to work in their positions and to provide earnings for their families. So a proper childcare and a proper education system for the girls will benefit us at most in Turkey.
So proper childcare, education systems, and Ekaterina, role models as well. You've got within your company a role model that has motivated so many of the employees at SoftTeco. Just tell us a little bit about what's motivating, who that person was.
Okay, I think you mean Olga Rashevich?
Yes.
I mean, this is my colleague, lead HR manager. And why is this example for most of our employees women? Is that because she started to work in a company as just HR manager, and then she had a child, of course, this was a pleasure, and she take advantage in UNFPA program in Switzerland. She learned Parent Smart, and then she returned. He became a leadership manager. I mean, she combined her work and parental responsibilities, and she have possibilities to promote what she learned in Switzerland, in Belarus, in our company, and she can have. Due to our parental program, family-friendly program, she may have quality time with her children due to flexible working arrangements and remote working arrangement and, of course, sick leaves. She may have quality time with her children.
So again, it's that leading by example. You've got somebody there that is doing it, and you can take from that and follow in their footsteps. It's really important to have those role models. I'm stating the obvious, but hearing from you about somebody who's doing it is super, super, super important. Elene, just final thoughts as well. We heard from the Deputy Minister of Labour, Health and Social Affairs of Georgia a little bit earlier on about the policies, the reintroducing of active labour market measures. I wonder, from a private company, how much involvement do you want from the government, and how much is it a responsibility from you? You've already explained how important it is, but how much government involvement do you want to see in terms of pushing these policies through? Because then arguably your hands are then tied, aren't they, somewhat?
As I said, as I mentioned before to our conversation, that when we are planning to do changes and if we want to reach the result, it's very important as a governmental state, as a non-governmental state, to work together, and the business sector to reach our goal easier and faster. As we understand that this is not that's impossible to reach on one night, but like during the time and with a participation of the all the sectors will be even more important and even more faster, that we will reach the results, that we will have the importance of the working and life balance, which will impact the businesses in a positive way.
And again, always at the back of business people, right? Always in the back of the minds is have that positive impact on the business. Always, always there. It's always about the money. It makes sense to implement these policies because they do provide the rewards. Yana, final thought from you. Ukraine, obviously, incredibly difficult situation right now, but even during a war environment, you've got the Ukrainian government ratifying the Council of Europe's Convention Against Domestic Violence. Ukraine's government very much leading this. Is that a similar question for Elene? How much government involvement do you want to see, given you've got the ear of policymakers and the people that have the ear of the politicians?
Actually, for sure, our situation is exceptional. So I'm really glad and I'm grateful that during this time, Ukrainian government, or Ukrainian parliament ratified Istanbul Convention. It was important, and I know that our president and our government work on creation of institution of civil partnerships is also important, and we will be glad to see our progress in human rights even during the war. But I believe as a private sector, we need to lead now, especially now when the government faced with such humanitarian and economic challenge with the war going. I hope that we use our opportunity to move faster, to adopt faster our corporate policy, and maybe to get this first experience of family policy adaptations during the war challenges. And maybe we will be the advocates of the next decisions a week. And I hope that we are going to propose our government and our parliamentarians the ideas from our experience. So actually, for now, our expectations from our government, it's actually not a big expectations at all, and we are grateful for what they are doing. But after the war, for sure, we will be traditionally for all Ukrainians active in advocacy new decision and in the discussion about better ways of handling this theme and supporting of human rights.
Of course, a very complicated situation, and that's the understatement of the century, but the private sector very much to lead. Thank you very much. So ultimately, we are hearing that when it comes to retaining the workforce, when it comes to attracting the best workforce, you have to make your company attractive. And making your company attractive is by making it family friendly, because life does go on outside of the workplace. And I think all of you have very tangibly explained why it does make sense for there to be friendly workplaces, family-friendly workplaces, for gender equality within the workplace, for that crazy idea of equal pay that I started off with. Can I just say a huge, huge thank you to my panel, Özde Hamarat, Yana Honcharenko, Elene Varsemashvili, and Ekaterina Trakhtenberg, and thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.